You know how you go to a Chinese restaurant and you get an egg roll? You don't really think about the egg roll because it's not the main event. You just chew into it and it's fine. You dip it in some sauce, it's great. These egg rolls are different and they're special. There's no cabbage in them at all. They're almost like a meal. You bite right into them, there's meat, mushrooms, it has a lot of substance. You're going to love these. These will be worth the time and the prep. You're going to need a pound of chicken, or what you could do is take the chicken from the deli, and you could do half chicken and half shrimp if you like shrimp. I happen to be allergic to shrimp, so we're not going to be doing that today. And you take a quarter pound of pork. And what we're going to do with everything that you see here, the vegetables and the meat, we're going to cut it into matchsticks. So this part of it, there's a little bit more prep involved, but you're absolutely going to love it. So the first thing we're going to do is take the meat and we're going to cut it into matchsticks. One of the things that I always say is make sure you have some good knives on hand, some sharp knives. I'm just going to cut these like this and cut them really thin, like that. And you want 2-inch matchsticks, and then I'm going to cut this in half. So when you bite into the egg roll, you don't want large chunks, you just want enough that you can taste it, but it has substance at the same time. So the next thing that we're going to do is go right to the vegetables. I'm going to demonstrate how to cut each one into matchsticks so that you know. I find working with these little carrots are a lot easier. So you're just going to take one, get yourself a good knife, cut it in half. Then you're just going to cut it in small matchstick pieces. You're the one that's going to eat these, so if you make them smaller, it won't be as hard to eat. So just look at them a little bit, and if you want to make them even smaller, just cut it in half like that. If you don't mind the consistency, you don't mind them a little thicker, then that's okay. Just leave it right as it is. There you go. These are matchsticks right here. Next, we're going to be on to the shiitake mushrooms. And what we're going to do with this is we're not going to use the stem at all because the stem tends to be tougher and a little woodier. So again, me with the gadgets, I love these kitchen shears. They cut through a lot of things. You can actually cut through chickens and all sorts of things, and it just makes your work so much easier and faster. So I'd highly recommend them. So I'm just going to cut the tip of this shiitake mushroom, and just like we did all the other vegetables, we're going to make these, cut these in tiny little matchsticks. What I love about shiitake mushrooms is each mushroom tends to have a different flavor. And what I love about mushrooms in general, especially shiitakes, is that they are like little sponges. They absorb every little flavor that you put into whatever you're cooking. This is what the shiitake mushroom should look like. Now, when you get to the other areas where it's a little bit thicker, you just want to take them and cut them in half. And you're going to do the same thing on this side as well. Just take them here, just cut them right in half. So you keep that matchstick consistency, kind of like these, but since these are in the center, there's a little bit more to them. So you definitely want to cut them and make sure that they're all matchstick size. So that is how you will matchstick a shiitake. We're going to chop all of these scallions, green onions actually. We're going to chop them up into matchsticks. Now what I love about these are they wilt, and the texture is really, really amazing when because you taste the flavor of the onion, but it's wilted, so it's almost like a spinach consistency. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut it like this, and then you're going to cut it down the middle in half like this, and then you're going to turn it over, and you're going to slice it in little matchsticks like that. Like that. And then what you're going to do is cut it into about 1 or 2 inch matchsticks like this. They will separate. See how some of these are kind of sticking together at times? They will separate when they're fried. So that is how you do it. Then when you get to the point, you can use these tops if you like. When you get to the point where it's just basically a hollow, you just do the same thing. You just cut it down the center, and you just make some matchsticks like this. And like I said, it is going to wilt anyway, but you want them in smaller pieces so that everything combines together. And again, these will also soak up the flavor as well. And that, my friends, is how we cut the green onion. Ginger is a very well-known ingredient in any kind of Chinese food. It just has an amazing biting texture, but it's just a flavorful texture too. But sometimes when you're brand new to cooking and you look at this, it looks a little intimidating. How do you cut this? What do you do with it? So I'm going to explain to you a very easy way that we can work with ginger. And what you do is you just take off a piece of the ginger root, and instead of sitting there with a peeler, which is tough to do because of all these little offshoots here, you just take a plain old spoon and you just peel it with a spoon. It's so easy, it comes right off. You can just cut off the little offshoots. That makes things a little bit easier for you. You can do a couple things. You can actually mince it if you want to, which would mean we would slice it different ways and just chop it up very small. Or what I'm going to do is actually grate it. What I have here is called a micro plane grater. And this is great. You can use this for anything. You can use it for any kind of vegetable or spice or garlic or anything like that, and it just so easily grates it. A really fine texture, but you get all the flavor at the same time. So make sure you move your fingers up as you go. And when it gets too close to the end, you just go with another piece of ginger. Alright, so we just added the ginger. Now we're going to add the wet ingredients. But once again, we have 11 shiitake mushrooms. We have 2 medium-sized carrots, or if you use the baby carrots, about 1.5 cups of those. And then we have 1.5 bunches of the green onions, and we cut those into matchsticks as well. And we also have the chicken and the pork. We have 1 pound of chicken, and we have 1/4 pound of pork. And as I said before, if you like shrimp, you can add 1/2 pound of shrimp and 1/2 pound of chicken to this mixture, which substitute instead of the pound of chicken. Or what you can do if you want more shrimp, you can add 1 pound of shrimp instead of the chicken altogether. Whatever you decide to do, whatever makes you happy. Now is we're going to add all of the wet ingredients. We're going to mix everything together, and we're going to be ready to start our egg rolls. Take 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. Now, oyster sauce is a very thick sauce that's mostly used for stir fry. And what it does, it has a very salty bite flavor, and it's made from oysters, so it just has like a nice smooth texture to it, which is fantastic. 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, which is a thinner consistency. We're going to have 2 teaspoons of the Asian sesame oil. This is made from sesame seeds, this oil, and it has an amazingly nutty flavor, which I love. To add 2 teaspoons of sugar. I'm actually using raw sugar, but you can use the regular sugar. And you're going to have 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. We have all of the ingredients together. So now what we're going to do is mix everything so that all of the wet ingredients are distributed evenly. We're actually going to saute all of these fantastic vegetables. We're going to add garlic to the oil in the skillet. When I've had a rough day at work, I like to chop garlic. You know why? Because I get to smash it. Let out all your aggression. You're going to feel so much better after you chop the garlic. 1 more. And we actually need 2 teaspoons of this, so I would say 3 cloves of garlic will definitely do it. I like a lot of garlic. It's actually very good for your heart, and it has a lot of healthy qualities for you. Cut the tip off of the garlic. And do you see the inside here? This means that the garlic germinated, so you want to slice it down the middle, and you want to remove that because it will be easier after you eat it. Sometimes when you eat garlic, you know, there are certain properties with it where you feel kind of like, oh, you know, but this actually removes all of that for you. So we're going to mince it. So we're just going to put the garlic in there, saute it, and I actually put a little sesame oil in there because I really want the sesame oil to run throughout the dish. Now, we're going to shrink these veggies. Oh, I love that sound. When you hear that sizzle, you know this is going to be a good dish. And we're going to wilt down all of these veggies because whenever, see how much this fills the pan? What's going to happen is as this cooks down, this is going to be less, and then we're going to put it back in the bowl, and then we're going to make our egg rolls. Now we get to the fun part. This is the part that I like the best. First thing that we're going to do, by the way, you'll hear a little popping in the background because I couldn't wait too much longer and I put some in the fryer. You don't need a fryer to actually make these. You can actually just take a pan and put 4 cups of peanut oil in it and fry it that way. You can also bake egg rolls if you want to be a little bit healthier, but we're not going to do that today. I took an egg and I beat it up. So I'm actually going to, this is the part I'm going to start the roll with, so I'm not going to put it there, but we want to make sure that the egg roll sticks together. So the 3 corners, I like to make it into a diamond here. The 3 corners just make it, it's just more fun to do it that way, so that's the way I do it. Now you do not want to overstuff your egg roll because it's going to explode. So what you want to do is just take about 1 or 2 of these. Now we could do a little more. Make sure you get lots of veggies in there. Lots of chicken and pork. And that's really all you need. You don't want to do much more than that. And what I like to do is bring this corner up, pull all of the contents towards me, and then start to roll. Then I take this end, I attach it here, I take this end, and I attach it right there, and then just pull these up a little, and then just roll it to the end. And that is how you make an egg roll. One of the things that you want to do as you're frying these, you want to make sure that the temperature of the oil is 350 degrees. Once you start putting a lot of egg rolls in the oil, it will bring the temperature down because you want it the 3 to 5 minutes, which is around what it'll take if it stays at 350. So what you want to do is make sure that you have one of these. This is actually a candy thermometer, but it also is used for frying. So as you dip it into the oil, you'll see where it is. Again, for frying, you don't need the fryer, but I happen to have one. You could put it right in your frying pan at home, and that'll work just fine. So initially, we start off like this, when everything is all glued together and it's all set up. And this is what it looks like initially. And then 3 to 5 minutes later, at 350 degrees, they look just like this, just like the restaurant. However, there's a very big difference. So this is the final product of the egg roll. Look at that. There's no cabbage filling it up or anything like that. This is all meat and vegetable. I like to dip mine in a sweet chili sauce. It gives it that extra spicy kick. Now we're going to try this. Put a little bit of sweet chili up top there. Once you try this, it's a lot more filling than a regular egg roll. The regular egg roll, to me, it always seemed very doughy, and it just had a lot of layers of the actual egg roll wrapper itself. But in here, there's so much more substance. So you're absolutely going to love this when you try it. It is worth the wait. It is worth the chopping of the vegetable. Your friends and family will absolutely be thrilled that you made this, and they will be so proud of you. I hope you had as much fun as I did making these egg rolls with me and letting me share my kitchen with you. But just remember, it's fun to be single and looking, but it is delicious to be single and cooking. Mmm.